Space-time must be born and must die, but not the I am. The I am is forever. And if it was not for the many years of meditation that I had, assisted by the angels around me, I wouldn't be able to see that I was navigating through space-time, that the world that I lived in is not me. The world I lived in is only my creation. I wouldn't have seen the difference. But I hope you can see. I'm going to show you a clip that astounds me when I first saw it. It all started with the eye of the observer. But the observer retreats. And what the observer sees is a bigger image. And that image gets bigger and bigger. And let's see what happens at the end of the video. This video astounds me because for one very important reason. You will notice that it all started with the eye of the observer. It is the eye that is watching the world, and if the eye wasn't looking at the world, would there be a world? When you wake up in your sleep, that sleep of yours removed every fabric of the universe. It's only upon you waking up that's why the world began to exist. Does it make sense? But what's interesting about this video is not only just what I've just said, is that you're looking at the universe through your eye. That's correct. But what's inside your eye that is looking at the universe? What's inside the eye is also the cells of the body. And every single cell of the body is a universe in itself. Can you imagine that? So you're looking at the universe through the universe. Does it strike you? It may not exactly astound you, but for me it's astounding because it is actually saying this to me. It is saying that the universe can only communicate to a universe by itself. You see, for me to communicate with my friend, I wouldn't be able to do that actually, unless I become my friend, unless I become him so that I could communicate with him. Merely talking to my friend wouldn't be a true communication whatsoever. And why? Because this is a universe and that is a universe. And we are not exactly communicating because we are different frequencies. We have a different vibration. And one universe to another universe, they superimpose each other, but they are not exactly at the same position. So the communication actually doesn't really exist. We imagine that it exists, but it doesn't really exist. For communication to take place, it has to be between two similar frequencies. Without that similarity of frequencies, there is no resonance, there is no communication. And this would explain why, no matter how you relate to a friend, you find that if it's a long-term friend, a lot of mismatch will take place. Short-term, of course, you would think that there's a matching, because on the short term, you imagine that relationship. But on long term, you find that there's a lot of discrepancies that are taking place. Because there is no really match unless you enter into the other party at a similar frequency. I have used a video which I took from YouTube or somewhere to illustrate to you something very, very significant which you are not aware of in your life. For me, it's because of my meditation through the years that I began to realize that there's a light within me. There's an eye of the observer, and he's watching the universe. And this eye is the light that shines. And it is really my true identity. Then all that I'm seeing around me, every moment, every day, is what I created for myself by my frequencies in a space-time. It's very hard to explain to you, but what I'm seeing all around me is a kind of projection from that one light that is shining within me. And this projection that I'm watching from deep inside me is very personal to me. It reflects the location of my birth and the location of the time in which I was born. So this space-time that I'm seeing would never be the same as the space-time which my friend is seeing. No, there's always a mismatch unless I resonate with the same frequency as the other person. It's this awareness of the I that is within me that allows me now to speak to you in this video. Because it's this awareness of the I that made me realize that everything that I'm looking at is not alive. And the only person that is alive is actually the I who lights up reality. It brightens the space-time. And if there was no I of the observer, space-time would not exist at all. Based on science, it would be like possibilities itself. When I came into this world at the point of birth, I came into this world at a certain time, at a certain location, and that itself is space-time. And as a result of which, it generates a universe just for that space-time identity to see. But my I am is not that spatial identity. My I am is the light that brightens and makes everything seeable. So you will notice that there are actually two components of reality. One is the light itself, and the other one is space-time. There are two components of reality. This light is equivalent to the I. It doesn't have a description. It simply opens up and brings about a reality. Space-time, on the other hand, is a world of possibilities. it doesn't really exist, as the science would put it. A world of double polarities, and being a duality, everything cancels out itself to nothingness. And this is what the Buddhists would say, there is nothing out there, because it's a double polarity. But for there to be something real, the man has to be aware of the I, must be aware of the light, which is the true observer. And this I, which is within the person, has no description. So you can't describe who God is. You can't even describe yourself. It's just a light up observer. And it lights up a world of space-time with double polarities. A man unaware of his I am is moving and wandering in a wilderness, because the double polarities will move him along. And he's moving here and he's moving there, and he doesn't really know what he really wants. It's only the I of the observer, the I beneath all this space-time, that actually decides, that actually makes choices. And you need to enter into the I, so that you can actually realize yourself as living. And that's why in the Torah, you have a description of the Israelites in the wilderness. Although they were taken out of Egypt, they were never really free. You couldn't be. So you're in the wilderness. But God tried to give them the understanding of the I via the commandments. They took a long time. They had to pass through 40 years, 40 cities and all, if you were to add up all the cities. And God kept telling them that in order for you to reach the promised land, you must have the I. You must become aware of the I, so that in the space-time that you are entering, Canaan, being aware of yourself, you have discovered the two components of reality, the I am and space-time. If on the other hand you live your life as a space-time with double polarities, unaware of the I, it seems like you are alive, but you're not. You're going back and forth, and there's no meaning in that life. A man must search out for the I, for the I is infinite. The I is descriptionless, and the I is within. Not outside, but within. And my story in this video is always meant to help you, to guide you to reach the soul. You know, Jesus, he said, I am the light of the world. That's right. The lamp is dark until it is lighted up. And who is lighting it up? I am is lighting up the lamp. You may have the lamp of double polarities, but it's of no value unless you have the I that lights it up. But don't get me wrong, please. Jesus wasn't referring to himself. He was referring to the I am within him. The I am which is in all of us. Right. Jesus is not saying you go after an idol. No. Jesus is saying you go after what is inside you. For what's inside you, which is the I am, will light up your world. Without the I am, the world is dark. So Jesus was aware of a presence greater than the Jesus himself. And he called that presence the Father, or he called that presence I am. But his disciples couldn't get it. They thought that he's referring to himself. And many Christians, so they didn't get it that way too. they thought that the I am that he's talking about is the physical Jesus, the human being. But that's not what I'm talking to you about, too. I know you know yourself. I know you know that you have a name. And I know you have an understanding of who you are, which has been acquired through the years. Your parents have taught you and given you a name, and your teachers have done that, and all through years you believe yourself in a certain way. Whatever you believe yourself, whatever you treasure yourself as self, is not what I'm referring to. That is called self, which the self that you know of is actually the self that you created in your mind, and it is kind of what you call separated from everyone else. You will see that I'm not the same as you. Yeah, you will distinctly separate yourself as someone different from another self. But the presence that I'm referring to is an altogether different thing. It's the I am that is found in everyone, and it's not distinguishable. It's descriptionless, as I mentioned many times. So, it's that I am that I hope that you will discover. Because this is the I am, which is the true God. This is the I am which I will relate as my Father. And you will also relate as your Father. And the I am that is inside us is the living one. The self that you know, which you created in your mind over these years, is not alive. And so for most of us, we live in that self, which is not alive. But the I am, which is a presence, which is deep in us, that is the one that is truly alive. And I hope you will discover that I am. And I must confess to you that I would not have known about this I am that is inside me if it was not for the vision. 3 angels came to see me and revealed the secret of what lies between life and death, telling me that death and life is not much of a difference at all. It's only an imagination of our mind. The true I am within me never dies. The true I am lights up the world. And the true I am is forever lighting up the world. You see, the reason why you sleep every night is simply because your thoughts must sleep. Your thoughts must wake up. Space-time must be born and must die. But not the I am. The I am is forever. And if it was not for the many years of meditation that I had, assisted by the angels around me, I wouldn't be able to see that I was navigating through space-time, that the world that I lived in is not me. The world I lived in is only my creation. I wouldn't have seen the difference. But I hope you can see. Follow my videos. I'll try to help you to find that journey into yourself, the secret soul, the true and only one living one. And there is no other. That's what the Torah says. I am that I am, and that is my name forever. God bless you.